Hello you lot, how's it going? So this is the second video in regards to the two comments that I got from what seems to be a very knowledgeable person on, in the world when it comes to Nitro. Is he or is he not? That's down to you to decide. But he publicly commented on one of my videos about Nitro, what you should and shouldn't do, and they were so long and in depth and just well put, well thought out comments. I thought they deserved to be seen by you lot, and also I thought the topics were good for a discussion. They were worth a video basically. So I said to Alder, I'm going to use your two comments to make a video, to make a discussion for everyone to see, and we can all discuss and decide our own thoughts on your comment. So let's have a look and see. This is the second video, the second comment he put, and let's see whether you agree or disagree. So, Alder 777, I'd like to add that you need a symmetrical tank for your tune not to change as the fuel level goes down. The exhaust pressure in the carburetor seats will change with a Crazy Savage or T-Max tank. The first part there, that first part I'll explain in a minute, but that first part I can see why, but also I've never experienced it before. I think he mentions it in a minute, but with a Savage you've got this tank. This is a HPI Savage tank. It's like that basically. So the legend has it that once it gets to half, it'll start to run lean because the pressure is different. Loads of people have mentioned it and said about it, but personally I've had a Savage for 20 years and I've never noticed this half a tank lean rubbish. This never happened. Maybe it's because I get the tunes too rich or what, I don't know, but I've never had half a tank lean. This tank's got a crack in it. I welded it up the other day and I ran it for a while with a crack in it. It never even ran lean then. I've never had a half a tank lean, and the way I tune my engines is I tune them until they go too lean and then detune them slightly until they're on the verge of being lean and not lean. So who knows, but this is what we're talking about when we're on about a Savage tank. See, it's not symmetrical. That is what Alder is talking about. Simply put, you want a symmetrical fuel tank, or as close to that as possible, or else your tune will literally change as the fuel level goes down every single run. Cars that come with symmetrical tanks don't have this problem. Something like HPI Savage does not have a symmetrical tank, and it has a major problem at half tank, known as half tank lean. Now once again, 30% nitro can mask this problem because it allows you to run filthy rich and make good power. The problem is still happening, and it doesn't change that it's happening with every single engine that has that garbage tank. You run that same tank on 10% nitro and it will be way more noticeable because you won't be able to mask it by running filthy rich with 10% nitro. I don't really care for 30% nitro. 20 is much better and you can make great power out of it, and it's easier to find peak power. With 30% you can just hide problems that are still there because you can always run filthy rich. So then when the half tank lean kicks in, you'll be close to spot on because earlier you were way too rich, but it still ran alright. Engines that make more power can cover it more too. Now, as I said, everyone is different, and you can definitely argue that I've never experienced or come across the half tank lean thing because I always run too rich, which I wouldn't disagree with. But I don't really care. I mean, when I'm out and about running whatever car I've got. I don't care if it's rich or lean. I care if it's lean, but I don't care if it's a bit rich. I'm having fun, and as long as it's running alright, that's fine. I tune them right on the edge. When you get that too lean, detune, the giggity goes away, we're alright. The other thing is, I probably never really noticed the half tank lean thing because I don't care. I'm running around and I'm just full throttle all the time. So, I don't know. But I know a lot of you get the half tank lean thing, so you'll definitely be agreeing with what Aldous says. I'm not saying I don't disagree, I've just not experienced half tank lean. Maybe because I run too rich, or just because I've not noticed it. I don't know. To me, engines are different anyway. Sometimes they're not all perfect, especially carbureted ones. Fuel injection, spot on. You can't get fuel injected nitro engines, so they're all carbureted. Because they have more power to spare, you can run them richer and still make decent power. You can't get away with that for much smaller engine. This causes a lot of confusion to what the real problem is, but it's absolutely the tank, nothing else. Can't get away with that as easy with 20% instead of masking covering it. The problem should be fixed, which is changing out the tank to a symmetrical one. Cat shit is still there, it's just covered and hidden by the cat. It doesn't change that it's still there. To this day, the manufacturers know that it's a problem and they still sell it with the same tank decades later. The T-Max is the opposite, it will go richer as the fuel level goes down, still selling with the same tank decades later. Shameful. Ruining the experience completely, as it only causes a lot of confusion and makes you wonder that there's something always wrong with your engine. And all along it's been the damn tank. It's been their crappy design tank. When do you see a T-Max or Savage shaped tank on a Nitro airplane? See, back to the airplanes again. I don't see why. Maybe some of you lot will attack me here and you'll agree, which is fine. Agree with Older. This is an opinion thing, you know what I mean? You can agree or disagree whatever you want, but airplanes, why do we keep comparing airplanes to cars? They're different. You know, it's like going down an airport and having a look at a Cessna and one of the little small two-seater airplanes, and parking your car next to it and going, bloody hell, why ain't my car got what that airplane's got? They're completely two different things. An airplane engine is different to a car engine, completely. Apart from the fact they've still got pistons and bearings and stuff, but they're completely designed differently. I agree with the tank thing. But the rest of it, we don't need to compare airplanes to cars because they're different. They just are. I'll be waiting for that answer forever because it doesn't exist. Because for some reason, the airplane world is in less delusion than the car world. I don't know why it's less, but it is definitely less. Something real bad with the Nitro car world. And they can make the engines run incredibly well on 10% nitro, but they won't do it. It would make for cheaper fuel and longer lasting engines and force people to learn how to tune better. They just need the compression bumped up some. And to make the tuning needle slightly finer thread to increase the tuning window. Fuel would be cheaper and you would get noticeably better mileage with 10% nitro and almost all the power with the compression set up for it. Most airplane engines have more compression and many of them can run great on 5 to 10% nitro. Most airplane engines have more compression and many of them can run great on 5 to 10% nitro, but an engine won't run that well if the compression isn't high enough for the low nitro. The ignition timing will be too retarded and it won't make proper power and heat, which will force the user to lean it out too much to bring it up to heat. Then it will be running lean. There's a fine balance with these engines and that has to be achieved. They are so simple and yet so complicated because everything that needs perfectly balanced. Well, I agree with most of that. The compression thing and all of that kind of stuff. And the engines, all engines need to be balanced in order to run properly. It doesn't matter whether it's petrol, diesel, or nitro. To run properly, there is a balance, you know. You've got to get the air-fuel mixture properly balanced, and it will run optimally, or at least thereabouts. All this comparing car nitro engines to airplane nitro engines, I disagree with. You know, you tell me, you lot, you know, what do you think on what Holder has said so far? You know, what bits do you agree with, what bits do you disagree with? I get the feeling, I reckon he's a very knowledgeable person, and which is why he's taken the time to write these helpful comments. But he favours aeroplanes more than cars. That's why the comparison to aeroplanes. But do you agree with the comparison to aeroplanes? What do you think? This is why I'm making this now, so we can all have a discussion. What else did Alder say? Oh, that was it. That was all Alder said. So what do you think of that? What do you agree with? Again, I think it's overthinking to some extent. Perhaps if you're a proper hobbyist that really gets into things and you're really interested in engines and all of that kind of stuff, as I am, but I don't have an interest in going that deep into it for general hobby terms. What?
I need your help.
Now, Alder, good helpful person that he seems to be, commented on my videos. Now, he's not a member, but you lot can become a channel member if you want to, and when you become a channel member you get early access, and you can get early access and shout outs as well. You also, as I say, you get early access, so you get to see every video before the rest of the subscribers and the general public, and you get a little badge next to your name. Now, the existing channel members, thank you very much. Stoneman420, Alfie Fury and Little Trucker, they've all paid for their channel membership, and I think you should do too. Every single penny will go to helping this channel, buying nitro cars, parts or whatever, and go to the final end goal, which is to have my very own RC track where everybody can come along and have a wonderful day of nitro cars in the woods. There'll be a crawler track, a buggy track, a monster truck track, all that kind of stuff. That's the end goal where this channel is going to go, and with your help we'll get there. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget Alder's comments, not taking the mickey out of him. I want to know your opinions on what seems to be a knowledgeable person's comment. Ciao for now.